Peace family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how they feel convicted around you. They feel extremely guilty. They feel a lot of those emotions that they have been ducking, avoiding, and trying to hide from. What's mind-blowing in today's society is we always mention how many people operate on demon time. We mention how we can see the opposition in there, how we can see the demons moving them to the side, taking control of their vessels. We give a lot of acknowledgement to these other entities, the opposition. You only either riding with the creator, source, God, or you riding with the opposition, everything that opposes the creator and source. And what kind of dove me into the subject today is I was just processing some of my past life and people that I've been around and engaged with on a more personable level. And I realized for me, it didn't matter what kind of beings I was around. They could see that God light in me. It was unavoidable. It was extremely present. Even when I was in dark spaces, dark corners, when I was going through the system, I didn't have weird obstacles or challenges even when I had to go through the system process. You know what I mean? I chose the red side of the gang life, and even for a lot of my bros that's doing their thing over there in that way of lifestyle, I still also received a lot of, everything is on a percentage scale. I still received a lot of respect to a little bit more of a higher degree, even around some of the beings who society would call dangerous. When I compare and contrasted some of my peoples in that space, because they known for that gunplay, they known for these hands, you know what I mean? Like, they are just known for being physical, being violent, being dominant, you know what I mean? And I had to process and bump into a few situations and a few different types of beings in this walk of life to really understand a lot of beings naturally feel convicted around us. And the same way we are on alert when we're around these beings, that conviction makes them feel more vulnerable than they already are. This is why they sided over here with the team that they did side with. But I had a being that I knew of that I was engaged with, and they had actually told me out their mouth that they feel kind of bad for sharing some of their experiences that they're currently going through, because I didn't know that they saw me in a higher light. I know the life I walk, but I cannot smell my own scent, you know what I mean? I cannot see my own aura. I know that it radiates and it projects, and I know that we all have natural body odors. But this being, when they had mentioned it and they said it, it was like a flash flood of all the beings who was close to the space that being was in when they brought that information to me. Because they was trying to figure out how to get themselves in a better space, and they was talking to me about something that I know they don't talk to everybody about. And I felt bad for them to a small degree, but at the same time, it's like they not putting the footwork in to change the narrative or their way of life. But what it does for me is it always makes me reflect back on myself, my life, how I've been engaging and encountering beings, how I react and respond to certain things, and just the natural light that we walk in. You know, everybody, not everybody, but, you know, it's a percentage of people that would like to know how the world views them to a certain degree. I know a lot of people gonna be like, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. I don't care is on a percentage scale, you know, so everything is on a percentage scale. So if you're saying you don't care, it's probably minimal, meaning like 1%, 2%, 5%, 10%. But when you're saying you care, that's anything above 50% and higher. You're above the halfway marker. So you can say you care, but you only care 55, 60%. That's still not 100%. So that doesn't mean that whatever you're saying you care about has some kind of control over you because you're aware. But what I realized is with comparing, I had two beings that I was really comparing, contrasting throughout my life. One was a male, gang, and then the other one was a female who I've known for some years. They don't walk the same life, but they both have that same viewpoint of my vibration. And I knew my homie did off the simple fact that a lot of his girl was around my person. This was years and years ago at the time. And he was finishing up, about to come home from his 5-year bid. And they, meaning the girls and then a couple of my other bros, they would think that because the way he is, that me and him was going probably bump heads like this when he came home. Everybody said he really beyond that shit. He really beyond that. That means that red life means he's walking that wholeheartedly. So that's what that means when people be like, yo, he really on that. And he came home and me and him had a chance to build. And when we built, it was on some one-on-one situation. It was nighttime. I'm not really sure what time it was. It could have been anywhere between like 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock, you know what I mean? But it was around, it was dark outside already. So we already know nighttime vibrations is different than daytime vibrations. So, and then Brody is, you know, he one of them high yellow guys that got all the tattoos everywhere. He got his weight up and all this shit, you know what I mean? So people see him, they the people who not about that life, who's not warriors or fighters, or they not like accustomed to violence and all these things, when they see him, they would naturally think that he's scary, you know, just because he has that look. And me and him had a chance to build one-on-one. You know, it wasn't no females around us. It wasn't none of the other bros around us. And I was over in his space. You know, the girls had went inside and he actually hopped in the car with me. And me and him just chopped it up, you know. That was our first time building together. And it went the complete opposite way of the way everybody else thought it was going to go. And for me, I'm always ready for that next level, it don't matter who want to take it there, I'm always ready for it. But that wasn't the intentions, because, you know, me and him on the same side, but everybody already know all family ain't your family, all blood ain't your blood. So after we had our engagement, we sat and chopped it up in the car, just me and him, probably for like 30-40 minutes, you know what I mean? It was completely different than what everybody had expected. And I didn't put too much emphasis on that situation, because I'm just like, maybe it could be like probation or like some other stuff that's kind of like hindering him from being like more aggressive the way he normally is with other beings, because I see him extremely aggressive. Like, he one of them people that like, he'll put his hands on you and he'll put his hands on females. But he know I don't play that female stuff. And that was going over to my next situation. It was like some years had passed, but me and him was still parlaying. We still chilling, vibing, not every day, but occasionally, you know, once, twice, 3 times throughout the month, we'd probably get up and mingle. One of these times he had pulled up to my house, and this was way back, like my BM was just pregnant, like this was way back. And it was a bunch of people at the house. We had roommates and stuff there, and it was like some people got invited. He didn't like the engagements that the other females was bringing. He had been drinking, so then he started trying to turn up a little bit. And it was like, at first I didn't really care too much because he wasn't doing anything physical. But I seen the other guys and other people trying to like talk to him, tell him to chill. Some of the girls was like trying to tell him to chill. Then as he ramped it up a little bit more, I had to get involved, and I was just telling bro, like, you know what I mean, like, you gotta chill, like, that's not the vibe over this way, you know what I mean, like, when you on that time, that's gonna transpire outside of my space, you know. And he ended up chilling out after that, you know. He ain't get any more aggressive than he already had been. He actually toned the aggressiveness down. You know, he kept saying, my bad to me, you know. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm sorry, like he's scared or something like that, because he not, you know. He was just saying my bad, just out of like a respect thing. As I got older and I processed it, I realized that he had a lot more respect for me, and it also was a bit of conviction in between there. See, when you operate on demon time and you're around a lot of other demons, they usually give you the thumbs up or the okay for you to do what you're doing. So then you don't have to worry about feeling convicted over your actions and the things that you're doing, the way you walk in your life. But then when you are around people who embody that God body spirit, you're going to feel convicted with all the actions and things that you're saying right now when they're present. And you're going to feel convicted if they start talking and reflecting about their past, because then it's going to make them process and think about theirs and all the weird things that they have done and engaged in that is unsettling. You know, we all are aware of what we are doing. It's just that some people that use the other playbook, they just figured out different ways to juke around feeling convicted and consequences to a certain degree. And I put that situation and that being hand to hand with, that was the male version. Then I had the female version. And this was like one of my people's, like back in the day, we was like engaged for a couple years. Not engaged like ring engaged. I'm talking about just physically engaging with each other. I ain't never been engaged for marriage. That's not what I was saying. And this being was extremely healthier when they was in my presence. So they like to use substances, you know, it varied back then, but usually they like to hit the ski slopes, you know what I mean? The ones that know what the ski slopes are, you know what I mean? And this being actually had minimized a lot of that stuff in my presence. They actually was getting back more on track with as far as like what they want to do in life. They was working gigs and jobs and stuff more. She actually got custody of her child back, you know what I mean? She started losing weight. Not like she was just trying to lose it, but when you around healthy beings, you take on that vibration too. I know a lot of people say that, oh, we take on toxic vibrations, but you gotta remember, they take on some of our traits too, and it starts to give them little tactics and methods that help make them operate better. So as she was losing weight, you know, she looking better, feeling better. She wasn't like no big girl anyway. She had a little bit more on than her, what is it, the BMI? You know what I mean? Like she just felt like she needed to lose some. Wasn't that big of a deal, you know what I mean? Everybody has this process with their self, and okay, this looks fine on me, okay, I would like to lose a couple here, okay, I want to put on a couple right here. But all of these things start getting better, you know what I mean? Like, we was discussing some things that she wanted to do. I took the time and energy to look into some stuff for her, because she always loved animals, and I dove into what was it? I think it was like Craigslist or somewhere. I was diving into just to see where the portals was at, you know, what other avenues was there. Found a doggy daycare business. She went to start working there and ended up moving all the way up to this, you know, this really high position. But I was telling her that, you know, you put a cap on yourself when you already done built the clients through this process, you know what I mean? Like, it was a huge transformation there. But I say all that to say, once we stopped engaging and then we started re-talking again, it was harder for her to engage with me because the life she's been walking since we stopped talking and engaging. And she felt a tremendous amount of guilt and conviction when she talks to me, you know. So like I was saying before, when you're around other demons, it's all good, it's all cool, you know. Everybody's vibrating on the same frequency, everybody down to do the same things. But when you're dealing with beings like us, that's usually far from. So since we notice and see the beings from within, it's usually a lot more that's in play, and that happens when they are around our presence and they're in our space. A huge part of the conviction is the same way they have a system here in place. You know, you got to go to courts, you know, it's all these charges, you know, misdemeanors, felonies, blah, 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 all these things. That structure was replicated from the creator's system that has already been here in place. The thing is, though, in the spiritual realm, there's nobody to physically find you guilty for you to feel convicted. The system is basically flipping it. The people, the entities that's going against the creator, they flipped it. So they want all of us to believe that the physical realm comes first, and then it's your quote-unquote thoughts. See, when you even label them as thoughts, it sounds secondary to the being that you are. That's why I don't even really like using that word thought, but I understand that that's part of the language, and it helps people understand a little bit better, since we was all programmed kind of using the same program, you know. And we still have to deal with the invisible world. That's way more stronger, more powerful, and more potent than the physical realm. That's why we all understand, okay, I really want to go over to the store, or like I really want to go to the park. That all starts within here, in here first. Then you manifest it outwardly. Then it presents itself outwardly. See, we move around and we managed our own convictions, our own shame, guilt, because we haven't walked a perfect life either, but we understood the consequences that came with whatever we were doing in the process. But a lot of the other beings that's using the other playbook, they feel that they can avoid it until they're on their deathbed, or until, you know, something extremely traumatic happens to them. See, for us, we don't need both our legs cut off for us to get the point. We don't have to be on our last breath for us to get the point. But a lot of these other beings who are opposing the creator, these are their methods. These are the steps that they take. You don't have to run around and tell somebody, hey, I see you in there, I know the life that you've been walking, blah, 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 and you're convicted. They naturally feel it. They naturally sense this. This is something that they have to, this is why people scurry away from us. You know, you ever have an engagement with somebody and you felt like it was going really good, you didn't say anything wrong, bad, it didn't feel like it went south, but then all of a sudden they just still disappear on you. They stop texting you first or texting you back. They don't call you no more. They get very unresponsive. They don't want to have to look at themselves and deal with the consequences. They feel as though as long as they aren't around beings like us, as long as they stay far away from source and the creator, that they can stay out on bond forever. Nobody gets to stay out on bond forever. If you haven't realized, usually most beings don't even stay on bond after 2-3 years. It's a limit. Even in the physical world, you have a limit as far as how long you will stay out on bond before you have to pay for whatever it is you did, you know. And it always starts to make its way one way or another. I'm gonna find you, I'm gonna get you one way. It happens every single time, you know what I mean? And for us over here, like, we understood these things from a young age growing up, which is why we always knew that, all right, well, if I tried this food this one time and I keep thinking about it, if I went to this one location and I keep thinking about it, I don't want to do something too witchy or too bad and it implants itself inside my inner space. Because once you do it, happens, you experience it, there is no removal of that memory. Unless you want to go to electric shock therapy, which we all understand that's part of that MK mind control and a bunch of weird manipulation. And I'm not in agreement with, you know, the electroshock therapy. They call it therapy, but it's not therapy. It's literally you're jolting someone's nerves. They basically figured out how to shake you up like a soda bottle and then pop the top on it. I don't need you to do that to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'll figure it out the hard way, which most of us tend to do anyways. But a lot of these beings, they're not walking in a godly light. That's why they have to get away from you. That's why they feel convicted in your space. This is why they have to experience some of the shame that they done to other people as well too. Y'all gotta remember, like, when people come across our space, there was a lot of people that they hurt and they got over on before they got to you. There was a lot of people that they hurt and got over on before they got to you. See, once you make it to me, I'm the next step to Bowser. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say Bowser is source. I'm the next step to Bowser. So once you make it to my space, you are going to start slowly, sprinkly paying for all the beings that you hurt and tried to damage and sabotage before me. And it usually happens unintentionally, you know, because most of the time they never run into beings that's this solid in their walk of life, that's disconnected with source. You know what I mean? It's a lot of things that come into place why they have to get away from us. But just keep these things in mind. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of things is just because we connected with source, and because the way society is set up, anything that's connected with source is going to be put on the back burner, and anything that is in cahoots with opposite of source is pushed to the front. So when you're processing things, if you cannot take it back to natural law, how things would operate without this system in place, then you don't have an accurate starting point. You should be trying to get as close to an accurate starting point as possible. So when you giving people your ideologies and your thoughts and how you process things, you have to start with, if there was no police, no system, no government, all of these things, say that all of them just disappeared right now. You still got the parks, schools, buildings, houses, all of these things up. It will be literally a ground zero. How accurate would your starting point be? How much sense would your starting point be? You can look at the homeless people and see that man and woman go together. You know what I mean? You can see how the man takes charge and he understands the roles and things that he can do as far as when they're operating. And I'm just using homeless for the, you know, for a lower frequency, because technically, like, anywhere can be a home. I could set up right here and say this is my home. I'm not going to, but I'm saying, like, you can do these things. The man has their role, and then the female usually knows where her powers and abilities lie at. So that's why if you ever see two homeless people together, man and woman, the man knows and the woman knows that she'll get better acknowledgement and treatment and possibly more money if she goes stands on the corner opposed from him standing on the corner. Everybody look at a man like, nigga, I don't know why you standing out here with your hand out. You need to go figure it out. Everybody see the female and they feel a little bit more guilty. They feel a little bit more shame for her. You know, it's like they feel more empathy and sympathy for her. So it's a different process. But the thing is, with the homeless people, they understand their dynamics. They understand their dynamics. You know, it's about making it work. It's not about all the other things that's going on in place. You know what I mean? Because in their world, it's them two against the whole society. But in this society, all you gotta do is pop on your phone and everybody say, oh, I can get another one, I can replace you. Unfortunately for us godly bands over here, they cannot replace us. This is why they always try to loop back around. This is why they always watching. Like, if you can replace me, there's no point of watching me. There's no point of trying to tap in with me. There's no point of trying to backtrack if you can get a million of me, you know. But we already understand that's not how that's set up. But I ain't want to run it up too long, you know what I mean? They will feel convicted just being in your space. A lot of people will disappear and ghost you over just not wanting to reflect and have to deal with their own things that they have going on the inside, you know what I mean? But tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.